Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, you're probably wondering why I'm sitting in my kitchen, or if you could even tell this was my kitchen. It is because I'm going to be doing my everyday makeup routine today. It's not necessarily so much of a natural makeup routine, it's just I have kind of a set routine that I do with makeup for days when I'm just going to run some errands, or like I'm just going to, well, I shouldn't say school because I do my makeup for school sometimes. But if I'm just going somewhere casual, like today I'm going to work, so just casual places like that, I have kind of like a set go-to look that I do. And I always do my makeup in my kitchen because there's the best lighting in here. There's a huge window in my kitchen. So while my house is under construction, the kitchen is the makeup place for me. And I kind of have all my makeup thrown in this bag because of the fact that I do work out of my kitchen. I have everything thrown inside of this bag, very unorganized. I have like, this is full of brushes. I got this from Benefit. Just random palettes and powders, just random stuff in here. And I did just wake up, and I say this in every video, please excuse my hair because my hair never looks right. My hair has been through a lot. It's been ripped out of my head, it's been bleached, it's been everything you can possibly think of, and I have a lot of hair loss issues, so my hair just never looks right. So, and it's finally growing back. It doesn't look like it. It's still very thin and nasty, but it's growing back and it's getting there, so I'm working on it. And I did just wake up because I wanted to film this video as if I was just waking up in the morning like I usually do. I usually sit down here and drink some coffee and do my makeup. So the first thing that I usually do, and I only do this on days when I have time, sad to say. Most days I'm rushing, but if I have the time to do this, I just put a little bit of moisturizer on my face, and I'm using the same one that I used in my drugstore makeup video. I will link that below. I'm using my Pond's Dry Skin Cream. I love this stuff so much. And if you see marks on my nails, it's because I had black nail polish on and it didn't want to come off all the way. So we're just going to ignore that as well. This is the only thing that really varies in my makeup routine in the morning, just depending on how much makeup I want to wear that day. If I'm going only a few places, I'm not going to want to wear as much makeup, so then I'll just go in with a lot of concealer. But if I am going for like a foundation look without using actual foundation, I'll use my IT Cosmetics, my CC cream, and I'll use it as concealer, but I put a lot of it on so it kind of spreads out and makes it look like foundation. But for today, I'm just going to be using my Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer, and you'll see how I do it. The way that I spread it out, it makes it seem like you have like a base going on without actually having to put on a lot of foundation. Especially it's good for this if you're going somewhere where you're going to be sweating and things like that. Like I'm going to work, so I have a feeling I'm probably going to be sweating, moving around, doing things like that. So I don't like to have a lot of heavy makeup on when I go places like that because I don't want to have to deal with it, you know, getting messed up and being cakey and all those things like that, because you know, you want to enjoy yourself and be at work and not have to worry about your makeup looking terrible. I just dropped it. Okay. So I'm not going to use a primer with this, and I have said this in videos before. It's not that I don't believe in primers, because I think they do have good primers out there. It's just for me personally, I find that they're not a necessary step in my makeup routine. So if I'm rushing, I'm definitely not going to worry about putting a primer on. So this concealer, it doesn't necessarily dry fast, but it dries fast enough to where I like to apply it and then blend out my under eyes and then go back in and do the rest of my face. So I'm just going to be using my Beauty Blender to blend this out, and I don't always use my Beauty Blender. Sometimes I use this brush right here. It's the 66 brush, I believe, from Sephora. I like this a lot to blend out my under eye concealer. I find that it does a really good job of spreading everything out without taking away the product. Alright, so the concealer is blended out. So what I usually do next is a bunch of things that regular people probably already do, but I just do it in this routine. So I'm going to go ahead and put some on my inner forehead up here, and I'm also going to cover any blemishes I have. Like I have a spot right here and right here. I'm going to cover all that up, and then I only put a little bit on my nose right here just because I don't like a super heavy, I can't talk today. Just because I don't like a super heavy coverage on my nose, just because out of all the places on my face, my nose and like this area on my lip tends to sweat the most. So I just don't like to put a lot of makeup there when I'm going places. So then I'm gonna put a lot on my chin because my chin is one of my problem areas, and a little here and a little here, because like I said, this does sweat a lot right here, but this area right here tends to be one of the reddest points, and I put a little here and a little here. So with whatever I have left on the brush after I've done all these things, I kind of just spread it on my cheeks. I know that's kind of weird, but it just covers my redness right here, and I like how it works. And I'm gonna put the rest of it on my eyelids, just a very minimal amount. And for this part, I am going to be using this to blend all of it out. This is the same Sephora 66 brush that I was talking about before. After I am all concealed up, I usually do my eyebrows, and I'm going to go in with my Holy Grail eyebrow powder. This is honestly the only eyebrow powder that I use. This is like the only eyebrow product that I'll ever use. I have tons of brow pencils and things like that, but I just find that nothing works like this. This is from the Brow Gal. You can barely see the label on it, and it's broken. I've used it so much. It comes with a mirror on here, and it has 3 colors in it. Obviously, I use the darkest one right here. I just find this powder has a consistency that no other powder that I've ever used does. And before I got this, I actually never even used powders at all. I always used the Anastasia Brow Wiz or the NYX Micro Brow, I think it's called. But this stuff has turned me to brow powders, and I love it. So I just get a little bit on my brush, and sometimes I start from the top and sometimes I start from the bottom. I used to always start from the top, but lately I've been starting from the bottom. I don't know why. I know a lot of people say that it's better if you start from the bottom, but with my brows, I don't really like that. I shouldn't say I don't like it, because I like it, just not on me. I don't like that super harsh brow that you'd get from, say, using like the Anastasia, the brow pomade. I find that that creates like a super harsh brow, and just for me, it's not for me. I like really natural brows, and I'm lucky that I have big bushy brows, so I kind of like to enhance that and just do like really natural bushy brows that still looks like eyebrows. It doesn't look like it was painted on. And again, if you do that, good for you. It probably looks great on you. One of my best friends does her eyebrows like that, and her eyebrows literally look incredible, but for me, it's a no. I do use a brow gel sometimes, just if I find that like my hairs on the side right here don't want to lay down flat. I'm not really having too much of a problem with it today, but I'm gonna use it just because this is a step that I do sometimes. And again, with my brows, I didn't really go for a super precise look. I just kind of did something rough just to fill them in and make me look more awake and regular and not look dead and disgusting. So I just filled them in just roughly, just to give them some life. And I do use a brow gel, like I said, and it is from the brand The Brow Gal, same brand that my little eyebrow thing is from. I actually found this brow gel at TJ Maxx for $1.99, and when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, The Brow Gal. I've never seen this in stores. I was like, I need it, and I bought it just because my brow powder is the same brand as that. I didn't even know anything about this brow gel. I didn't even know it existed, and it turns out I actually do like it. It's not the best brow gel in like the whole universe per se, but it's definitely not bad. I believe it retails for like $14 regularly, like on the Brow Gal website, but since I did find it at TJ Maxx, it was only $2. So whenever I use my brow gel, I usually focus it more on the front to make sure those hairs kind of stand up, and I just like barely, when I say barely, like I barely touch my brows with it. And I know it's recommended to like use a brow gel before you do a powder, but that's just not how I rock. I find that whenever you use a brow gel before you use a powder, you have to sit there and wait for it to dry. It's just, I don't have time for that when I'm doing an everyday makeup. Like if I'm rushing in the morning, I just don't have time to sit there and wait for a brow gel to dry. So I just do it after. And like I said, I barely tap my brows. I hope y'all can see what I'm doing. And like, that's literally it. My brows honestly look the same. All I did was calm them down a little bit. Okay. There we go. And I'm gonna go back in a little bit in this spot right here. This spot is a bald patch that I have in my eyebrows. Probably about a year ago, I accidentally like nared off half of my eyebrow, and this little patch right here just never grew back. It just decided it wasn't gonna grow back. So for everyday makeup, I do have a go-to palette. It is the Pure Cosmetics Soiree Diaries. Soiree Diaries? I don't know. It's like in French or some shit. I don't know how to read this. But okay. This is my go-to palette. One of my friends, my lovely friend, she dropped it and broke this part right here. So ignore that. I was heartbroken. But this is my go-to palette right here. I just find this palette is super easy to use, and it's super good for just like on the go, like really quick, just throwing something on your eyes just to make you look awake and good. And warm colors are definitely my thing. I don't really necessarily like cool tones on myself, like dark black, gray, smoky eyes. It just doesn't look right on me. I find that warm colors is just something that I'm kind of more drawn to, and this palette is a palette full of warm colors, and it does have all mattes and a row of shimmers, so I like it. I don't know. There's gonna be some people out here who are gonna cringe at how I do this makeup, but sorry girl, that's my thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade right here, and I'm literally just gonna put it all over my lid, like everywhere. So I usually start out by putting it on my lid, and then I blend it up. And this does happen to people with glasses. I'm gonna do a video in the near future called Glasses Hacks. No, it's gonna be called like makeup hacks for girls with glasses. I think that's an interesting video idea. I've never seen it before. I'm gonna have to look it up and see if that's a thing, because there's so many, like, I do my makeup different, like, well, not different. I do my makeup specified for like videos that I'm doing. Like, there's things that I do different so that way I can show you what I'm doing versus when I'm doing it myself and I can be like all in my mirror and stuff, you know? So I'm gonna do that because there's like a lot of girls who I'm sure are struggling, because literally I struggle so much with certain aspects of my makeup because I have glasses, and I've learned and taught myself a lot of tricks because you need to know those things, because there's no other way that you're going to be able to get your makeup done. You can't do your makeup the same as if you have 20/20 vision and you can just be like, oh yes, this is what I'm doing, and do this right here, and have your mirror like all the way over there and you can just see everything perfectly. Like, it's really hard. For me, I find that the hardest part about doing my makeup with glasses is my liner. It's literally fucking impossible, so I just don't do it. It's hard. It's a struggle. So I'm just gonna do the same thing to the other eye off camera, and I'll be.
And we haven't eaten an entire day. What I thought myself.
So I went and bought, because she couldn't find anywhere on the map to eat. You know how she is working at Google.
Right.
Wait.
So I like passed up like 5
How
places.
much shit waiting for this?
Uh-huh.
Stop at a taco shack. I don't like tacos. I'll tell you my story later.
Okay.
So I get to the hotel.
Okay.
She was busy prepping.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't prepping. I was washing the sand off my ass.
I went and got a box of sushi at a convenience store attached to the hotel.
The way that I kind of do it is I kind of blend it up like this. And if it gets a little messy, I literally just use my finger really fast and just wipe it off. But I basically just start at the bottom and blend it up just so it's like one red orange blob on my eyes. Yeah, I'm sorry if that bothers some people. I know some people get like weirded out whenever people only use one color on their eyelids, but don't care. After I do this, this is another weird step that literally makes no sense, and it's not in the right order at all. I take my beauty blender, and I use a different one for this, and I spray it with my Cover FX, what is this? Cover FX illuminating spray. I spray it with this just so it's a little damp. And then I'll either take, just depending on how full coverage I need it that day, like how bad my dark circles are, I'll take my Maybelline Fit Me powder, or I'll take this little Clinique thing. This does come in a bigger size regularly, but when I was at work at Sephora, Clinique, for Christmas time, they came and brought us a bunch of stuff for the employees. So the employees got a bunch of like really deluxe samples. So I have like this little container of the translucent powder, but it's a little bit dark on me, so I tend to only use it whenever I'm feeling a little bit more tan. Today I'm looking very pale, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my Maybelline Fenty powder. So then I just take it and I literally just like rub it around in here like that, and then get it to where it's like this, and then I'll go back to underneath my eye, and this is so terrible. I literally pull it down and I like press it in my creases, which is so bad for wrinkling. Please don't try this at home, but this is literally what I do. So I went ahead and did the same thing to the other eye, and with whatever is left on the sponge, I'll just kind of bring it up here and kind of set everywhere that I put that concealer at with this powder on the sponge. I like applying powder with a sponge just because I feel like it makes it look more natural and less powdery. Because my skin is so dry, powder tends to look really, really powdery on me. I know it's powder, but it looks extra powdery. So I tend not to use as much powder products as I can, but I've found that this works really well for me. Okay, so after I have done that, I'm gonna find my little container of brushes and assorted things, and I am going to, by the way, this is not mold on here. This is literally green eyeshadow that came on here, and I have to wash this. This is a mess. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my e.l.f. smudger brush as soon as I can find it. Here it is. And I'm gonna take that same red color and I'm literally gonna put it underneath my eyes. And I'm just gonna look like one orange mess, because that's what I am. And I'm really not being super precise with this. I'm literally just putting it like anywhere. One of the reasons I do it like this is because I do have glasses, so most of it's gonna get covered anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter. But I really like the way the orange looks with my eye color. It kind of makes my eyes pop. You'll see once everything's done. So as you can see right here, I kind of connect it and just do like this whole crazy let's put eyeshadow everywhere kind of thing going on. Sometimes I will go in with this shade right here, and this, in the camera, it kind of looks more brown. In person, it's more of like, you can definitely see that it has some of like a little purple in it, so it's kind of like a deep wine color. But I'll go ahead and I'll put this on the lower lash line right here, and I'll put a little bit right here just to create like some dimension. Actually, I think I might do that. So regularly, I don't do this on a regular day, but now I'm getting carried away with the eyeshadow, and after I do this, I'm going to stop. Again, it's nothing precise. It's just literally just to add a little bit of dimension on my eyes, because that's all now. All right, so then next I'm gonna go in with my mascara. All right, both of the eyes have the mascara now, and I love it. Okay, so my eyes are done. This is pretty much what I do on an everyday basis. I know this seems like it's kind of complex and long for an everyday thing, but when I do it really fast just because I've done it so much, and I'm just in a good habit of it. So for lips, depending on how extra I feel regularly, I'll just go in with my Fenty lip gloss and just put it all over. But sometimes I will do something a little extra. I'll take this Milani lipstick in Matte Beauty, and I'll put it like in like little dots all over my lips, and then I'll go in with this Essence lipstick in the shade Come Naturally, and this is like a little bit of a lighter nude with like a purple hint, so I kind of mix these two together and it creates like a really good nude from my lips. But that's just my personal like specialized nude thing that works for me. But today I'm just gonna go all over with my Fenty lip gloss because I'm just going to work. So this gloss is so pretty. If you guys don't have this gloss, you need to go get it. I know it's $18, but it's in a pretty decent sized packaging, so you get a lot from it, and I love this applicator. Alright, that is it, guys. This is my everyday makeup routine, and this is just how I do on a regular day when I'm not going anywhere special. All the stuff, and I can usually get this done in about 10 minutes, 15 maybe if I'm doing all the extra lip and all kinds of stuff like that, but regularly around 10 minutes. It's not a long process, and none of the products that I use are crazy too expensive. Nothing's like super high-end, and there's always options. You know, you don't have to use the same exact stuff that I use. You can use things that are similar, because everything that I use is pretty much general things. There's nothing too crazy about this look. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.